Hey everybody, welcome to Start a List with Carol and Stacy. I'm Stacy,
I'm Carol.
and we're so excited to have you this week. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Your hair looks so cute.
Oh, thank you. I decided I'm so hot that I had to get it cut off again.
Yep, I
And
understand that.
that's
We're not
usually
long-haired girlies.
no. I tried it, y'all, and I prefer my hair shorter. And don't let people lie to you. I've been told several things like you look better with longer hair, or you need to let your hair grow out. And I'm like, no, I want to wear it like I want to wear it.
That's
And
right.
one time before my mom passed, she said I had gotten it cut, and I was so excited. I loved it. It felt great. It felt sassy, and she went, "Oh, I just don't know if that's a good cut for your build." And I heard you're too fat for that haircut. So
I
she
know.
took the air right out of my, blew the air right
Popped
out
your
of my
balloon.
she did. Well, I just don't think it's a good cut for your build. Thanks, Mom.
Well, I think your hair looks really cute right now. I'm
Thank you.
I got mine cut too, but it's flat right now from the headphones,
Cute.
and I'm trying to rock the bangs a little bit because it's cheaper than
Yeah.
Botox. But
Oh gosh. Good for
right,
that.
it's so windy outside right now. It doesn't matter what you do to your hair; you're going to get blown away.
Well, it's got to be better than when I was a literal baby, probably 15 months old. Mom said that she had the baby bed beside like a changing table or something. And she had one of those jugs of Vaseline. And I got to the hedge and scooped out Vaseline and covered my head in it. And I don't know what I was doing or thinking, but apparently I was experimenting. She of course washed me off and washed my hair. She had to take me to the beauty shop probably for 3 months until it finally, grew out and it wasn't
Oh,
greasy.
you probably felt sticky.
Who knows? I mean, but yeah, I covered myself right on. I
You were
mean,
shiny.
I probably had this much hair, and it was just, golly, I don't know what possessed me to do that.
Well, in case you guys haven't figured it out by now, today we're going to start a list about our hair.
We mentioned it several times to each other, and we're like, we should talk about all the hairstyles we've had.
I have had a love-hate relationship with my hair since, I don't know, the beginning of time. Okay. And in its natural state, it is stick straight and very fine. And my mom always kept it cut short, which is probably why I prefer having short hair because it was so fine, it wasn't full and stuff. So, of course, you always want what you can't have, right? And I always wanted, my sister had this beautiful, thick, long hair, and I always wanted to have that growing up. I didn't. But we thought we would do a funny trip down memory lane and reminisce about some of our more memorable hair experiences.
Well, speaking of bangs, that they can go really wrong on
Yeah,
so many levels. I mean, we it seems like when I had longer hair, every time I would get bangs cut, I would end up hating them because there was one piece that would just poke me in the eye all the time.
Yeah, you're going to see me move.
But yeah, but I will say my sister-in-law has some pretty unique pictures, kind of remind me of those that are posted on the internet from the 80s of her bangs. And I mean, they're probably up to here and right across. And she's like, I guess my mom, it was summertime and she was tired of doing her hair. So she just cut them right straight off. And we'll look at it and go, oh dear,
Well, back in the day, little girls had bangs, right? It was a lot of little girls had bangs back in the day, but maybe not that short.
But we laugh about that and how, gosh, what were our parents thinking? And then I think I did it to my children. And my daughters recently said, Mom, why did you cut my bangs like that? I'm like, well, I didn't do it. I took you and I paid to have you look like that. I don't know. I think when they're little, it's easy to just pull it up in
Yeah.
a ponytail
Yeah.
and have bangs. I don't know.
Well, I also always wanted to kind of be, when I got a little bit older, like a teenager, I wanted to be trendy. So I wasn't all about just classic, cute long hair. I wanted to be trendy and I wanted to look like Molly Ringwald and Pretty in Pink and all the things but that we can talk about. So my hair's had a lot of styles. So
Yeah.
I did a montage one time if I did it on Instagram or TikTok. And it was literally every year I taught school for almost 30 years. And it was like basically a history of my hair from age 24 to 50 something. I'm like, golly. And I mean, some of them I'm like, ooh,
No. Oh, but
scary.
hey, we paid money to look like that. Whatever
We
was
we did.
trending.
Now, my mom did my hair growing up. Like she cut it and all that stuff. My mother, who is so beautiful and 78 now, still cuts her own hair, and you wouldn't know it. She does such a
It
good
is.
job. Now, if
It's
I did that, I'd
very
look like I had
special.
I'd gotten hold of a pair of dull blades and um just did a terrible would have it. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Sorry, but
I
it would
get
look like a whack
it.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, her hair is beautiful. And yeah, I think my uh, mother-in-law always cut her hair and always looked great.
I mean, going to the back then they called it the beauty parlor, the beauty salon. Back then was a luxury, and we just didn't spend money on it. My mom and dad are DIYers. So growing up, so both of us grew up in the 80s for most of our years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
But yeah.
I was born in the early 70s, but when I got old enough to care what my hair looked like, it was the 80s. And the
Yeah.
80s hair was, there was a lot of hair.
Well, my mother, I mean, and I get it. When they were growing up, if they went to the beauty shop, it was a luxury. And it probably cost $10 to get their hair
Yeah.
shampooed and cut and styled. And then when
Yeah.
it went up to 15 and 20, they were like, that is awful. And my mother, I vividly remember she would give me those Tony perms. And I'd get a towel and put it around my head or my face because the fumes were horrible.
Yeah.
And she would wrench me as tight, roll me as tight as you could get my hair. And I
Yep.
had the worst headache. And she take those papers out and roll it up and pour that ammonia on there. Oh,
I mean, you would literally, people go to the store and you could buy a perm in a box, right? And so I'm really laughing.
now I lost your son. Now I can't.
Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Now I can
Sorry,
hear you.
technical difficulties, people. You
That's
would go.
fine.
You used to be able to go to the store and buy a perm in a box, okay, and it would have the solution and the cotton and the plastic bag, and then I think you had to buy the perm rods separate. So we just had our pile of perm rods, and they came in different sizes, right?
Yeah, like pink was smaller in diameter and green was large in diameter. And they would have a diagram of,
how to roll your head.
The back, and then roll the front and roll it in this direction.
So those of you that have never had a perm, you put a lot of rods in your. I keep touching that. Stop. You put a lot of rods in your hair. They're skinny, and then the end of it is like a rubber band, and then it clips on the other end.
Give you a headache and a half. Well, and I remember there were two brands that we would use. It was either Tony or Lilt.
Gosh, I don't remember that.
But
I'm going to ask my mom if she remembers it. Oh, the smell.
Oh, the smell was horrible. And it smelled like a skunk from the other room. If you were in another room, because I can remember my dad saying, "What are y'all in there doing?" And
so you would get the perm rods put in, and then your mom would stuff the cotton, around it. Because if you got the perm solution in your eyes, it would literally blind you, right? It's like, so
you usually did. A little bit of it would drip and you would just die.
Yeah. And then you cover it in plastic wrap, and you had to sit for so long with your perm rods in and your solution and all that stuff. And then it came time for the big rinse, right? And so first you rinsed with the rods in your hair. My mom would hang my head over the sink.
And then it would run in your eyes.
And then it would run, and you'd hold a washcloth up over your eyes, but it inevitably, like you said, would get in your eyes. And then Then you'd have to get all 5,000 rods unrolled out of your head, and they'd clunk into the sink, and the little
And they
socky
pulled.
papers. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And for those of you that have never had a perm, fun fact, you can't wash your hair for like a day or so afterwards because you got
And
to
it
let that,
stinks.
and it stinks, but you got to let it set. Otherwise, you'll deactivate your perm.
Yeah. I can remember it just being
But
a
man, a
lot.
perm hair, a fresh perm hair, it was easy to style because it was
Yeah.
so curly. And then when it
Yeah.
started to grow out, not so much.
No, because then it was just straight and then just dry, like frizz.
Yeah,
It
frizz,
was
bad
bad.
frizz. And then that perpetuated your cycle. So you had to get another perm. And anyways, we all had bad fried hair for years. And then we'd tease it. And gosh, in high school, my senior year, I had a perm, shocking. And I had like the big bangs that went up and over to one side, and they were curly, and I'd tease it and I'd get the hairspray out. And we used a lot of hairspray.
I used white rain.
White rain.
White rain. It was a pump. You can't even
Yeah.
buy it now. And it was like lacquer. Like, and we would, I mean, when you were saying in high
Cousin
school,
used white rain, but the aerosol. I need to ask her.
yeah,
She had big hair too in the 80s.
yeah, it was the bigger the hair, the better the look. I guess it was true. We had big hair, our bodies didn't look so big. Who knows? I mean, maybe we should
So I'm getting a perm tomorrow.
Get a perm, I know. look thinner instantly. Just put on a big old
Shoot, that's
giant.
funny. I mean, I had a hairbrush. I mean, this is how serious we were about our hairspray. I had a hairbrush. This might have been middle school. I don't remember. And it was a hairbrush, and you would unscrew the handle, had a top on it, and you would unscrew it and pour hairspray into the handle of your hairbrush.
Yes.
And then during the day, you could brush your hair. I don't know what we were brushing, but we had perms. And you would pick your perm, you guys, with a pick. Like you couldn't brush it.
Pull it out.
No, you used to pick on it. Anyways, it was a whole thing. But yeah,
well, we called them wings. I don't know who had wings. I think Farrah Fawcett, if anybody is old enough to remember her. She was beautiful. Of course, we all wanted to look like Farrah Fawcett. And then when, she had those beautiful wispy layers. Yep. And so we'd all try to look like it. Well, I never did, but
we didn't. Shoot.
No, I never did. No, I've never been told that.
Well, I cut my hair short. Like, I don't remember, not my senior year, maybe like my sophomore year or something, because I was determined to look like Molly Ringwald on Pretty in Pink. And she had that kind of short, curly, wavy bob, and I was determined. I mean,
super cute.
Not even close, but I was obsessed, and that's what I wanted my hair to look like. So,
yeah. I remember being in third grade, and I had I don't even know, I think it was a Goody comb.
Oh yeah.
And it had the edge, whatever, it was rounded and had the teeth. And I can remember we put them in our back pockets.
Forgot about that.
And we'd carry our combs in our back pockets. It was a thing. And we brush our wings out. But at this juncture, it was back when the Winter Olympics had just happened, kind of like similar to now. And I remember I got my new spring haircut. It was called the Dorothy Hamill.
I had that too.
And girl, you had to work it forward, and then you had to take the comb and go and pull to the ends to make it lay correctly right around the edges. And if you don't know who she is, look it up. It's like a round bob thing. I don't even know.
I was pretty little when I had the Dorothy Hamill, so I'm sure my mother was fixing it for me. But my hair was also stick straight, so it probably did it pretty easily.
Well,
and this was before straighteners. We didn't have hair straighteners back then.
Right.
We had, what did we have? Just hair dryers and curling irons, I guess.
Well, we had hot
rollers.
Yeah.
But we didn't have straight irons. That's been a newer invention.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've lost you on my screen. So apparently you can still see me. So I
can still see you.
Okay. I'm just going to keep going.
Okay. That makes me think of the episode of the Brady Bunch where Marcia laid her hair out on the iron
Oh
Did
yeah.
she
I
do
forgot
that?
about
And she
that.
ironed her hair with a like a clothing iron.
Yeah, yeah. I think it probably burned it a little.
How old
Um,
were you when you either were allowed or did it on your own to start coloring your hair or doing anything like that to it?
oh, maybe 16 or 17. I don't even remember
Hmm.
because yeah, no, we weren't allowed. That was and
Yeah.
then I can remember people like when I first started teaching in like 87, 88. I would have third graders with, their
Oh,
parents would let
yeah.
them color their hair. And I can remember thinking,
Yeah.
well, she's too young for that. Well, I thought, well, why am I thinking that? Well, because that's what I was told.
Well,
Um,
I definitely was not allowed to have color in my hair or anything or highlights. I'd probably try to sneak sun in my hair every now and then, but it didn't do much, y'all, because my hair was so dark.
yeah,
It would
I
turn it kind of a
definitely,
bad orange color.
I definitely use sun in during the summer because we all wanted to be blonde. But if you have brown hair, it will not lift to a blonde. If
Explain
you
to
have,
everybody what sun in is. Is that still a thing? Can you even buy that now?
I don't know, but
I bet
it
it's not.
it was like literally peroxide, and it
That you
literally was
sprayed in your hair.
braided in your hair, and we
Listen,
thought,
back then we weren't concerned with all natural, okay? The more chemicals,
oh,
the better. We were just dumping it in our head.
well, that's what they were showing in Teen Beat and Tiger Beat
Oh,
and 17
yes.
magazine, and that's what we were
Oh, I miss
sometimes
those
buying.
magazines.
I know, but like, yeah, we all felt like we wanted the products. I
I
think it'd be
think
too much
in
pressure.
college, when I got a little freedom, I think the first thing I ever did to my hair, and I did it myself because I didn't have any money in college, was you could
Yeah.
buy like semi-permanent or temporary like hair dye
Yes.
wash out. And I say that in quotes after so many
Yes.
washes. So I started
Yeah.
experimenting with that. And then, I don't know, I went through a phase of wanting my hair to be kind of a darker red color, I remember. And
Yeah. I've done the what's it called? Like a burgundy. You
well,
just
that's funny you say burgundy because one time now I was a fully functioning grown adult that knew better.
oh.
And this was way back, I was probably in my early mid 20s. And I had been dyeing my hair with one of those semi permanent dyes that you buy at the store. And it was
Yeah.
kind of a dark, dark red. And I say red, not like carrot red, not carrot orange, but like that
Yeah.
deep, I don't know, burgundy, like what you're
Yeah.
saying, kind of, right? So I decide just on, because back then you just woo, get an idea and you
Yes.
just do it, right?
Yeah.
That I was going to get me a fresh box and do my hair. So I did. And I had to teach the next day. And my hair was short then, like, and I'll tell that story in a minute. I did this semi permanent color and I'm rinsing it out. As I'm rinsing it out, I'm like, this doesn't look like it normally does when I rinse it out, right? I get done and dry my hair and it's legit eggplant purple, like
Oh no.
eggplant. And I'm like panicked because it's like 8 o'clock at
What?
night. I got to
Oh
go to work the
no.
next day. And I'm like, what am I
Oh
going to
no.
do?
Wear a hat.
So it was so short. And I guess I went to school the next day and just was like, I don't know what happened. I still don't know. Like, did somebody switch the bottle in the box? Had I grabbed the wrong box and I don't know it? I called the
Or,
girl.
or it was the name was deceiving.
Right. But I feel like I had used it before, so I thought I knew what I was getting, right?
Okay.
Called the
Yeah.
girl that did my hair, and I'm like, so I may have done something last night. Is there any way you can fit me in? So I ran over and she had to pull bleach through it to try to get the color out. And
That
it
night?
no, I had to go to school with purple hair the whole
Oh
next day.
gosh. Yeah.
And she pulled bleach through it to like lift that color out. And it didn't get it all out, but it did tone it down. So it wasn't like, you know. But she was like 6 months later, she'd go, oh, I found another purple hair that was just hanging on for dear life. So to say the least, that is the
Yeah.
last time I ever put color in my hair myself. I just quit doing it. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then I recently, and I know you did recently, just said, I know everybody, the trend during back in 2020, right? Or 22 during
Yeah.
COVID. The trend was just to let it go and let your gray. And so I just got so tired of spending what, $150 on this length hair for having it colored that I just said, forget it. And I'm very happy with it. I mean, I've come to grips with it.
Yours is very pretty. It's lighter. Mine didn't turn it. Mine is completely all grown out, but it's still very salt and pepper, and it's still very dark underneath. That's like my real hair color. So I wish it was a little lighter, but it's okay.
I work with a lady that has the most beautiful silk white hair. It's gorgeous.
My granny had white hair. I'm still holding out that one day it will.
I had white hair once. My sister-in-law, again, we thought, oh no, I was up there for the weekend at visiting my brother and her at her house. And we were like, hey, let's frost my hair. Back then you called it getting frosted. And literally we went to the grocery, bought the box. She put a rubber cap on my head and took it looked like a knitting needle. Pulled the hair.
Those things hurt.
It hurt. And I had this chia pet head thing. She put the bleach on. We're all, having a good time. And then ding, it's time to go rinse. She went, oh my gosh. And I'm going, what? And I pull up from the sink and I look in the mirror, and I kid you not, it was gray white. It was translucent white. It was so messed up.
I wonder why it did that.
We left it on too long. So then
people pay big money for that now, though.
Yeah, it was platinum looking. It was awful at the time because I had brown hair. And so she's like, well, maybe it's not too bad. And I'm going, it's bad. And then, so she said, let's comb it out and get the brown to mix in and see how it looks. No, my hair was white. So we get in my car, go back to the grocery. Then we get a dye. Now we're going to dye it so we can tone it down. We toned it down, but it was awful for 3 minutes. It was horrible. But yeah, that was a pretty funny one. She was like, I can do your hair. And I'm like, let's frost my hair. That was a big deal.
Yep, frosting. They call that highlighting now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but you could buy it. It's called Frost and Tip. Remember it?
Mm-hmm.
Frost and Tip.
I bet they still sell those where you pick your hair out through the little cap and people do it at home.
I don't know.
I've had it done on me. It hurts.
It hurts.
It's like being tortured.
They dig into your scalp, pick up those hairs, and it's pulling.
Well, so moving away from color, I told you earlier, I have spent my entire life, I love to change my hair. Not so much in my older age, but I used to change my hair a lot. And back in the early 90s, when I was young, Faith Hill was the new up and coming country artist. And I just thought she was so good. And she had that cute little short haircut, and it was very cute. I don't even know. I remember being obsessed with it. I was like, I am going to get me a Faith Hill haircut. I don't know what my hair looked like before this. So I went to Casternauts in Rivergate. I'll never forget this. I just called up and I was like, hey, can somebody do my hair? There's zero, don't know these people, don't know if they're any good. Show up. I'm at this department store salon. So, it felt very 1960s. Yeah, I guess. And I go and I'm like, I want my hair to look like Faith Hill's. So
but the lady was like,
and I don't know. I guess so this is before phones. I probably had a CD case in my purse and I pulled out I don't remember, but I'm just saying, how else would I?
But you took her a picture of People magazine.
I did. I had to find a picture of Faith somewhere. And I'm like, because, I could just whip it up on my phone back then. So I show her what I want. And I remember being very pleased. I'm like, I look just like Faith Hill. My hair is so cute. And of course, when you cut your hair, it is shocking to people when they see you for the first time, right? And I go to school. Now, you can always count on small children for their brutal honesty, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll never forget this. We're going down the hall, and this sweet little girl in my class goes, are you having a bad hair day? And I was like, well, I didn't think I was. She didn't like my faithful short haircut that I was
It's kinda
convinced
like
looked so cute.
before I had or after I had the Dorothy Hamill, I can remember everybody wanted that Jennifer Aniston
Oh,
cut.
yes.
The
Well,
the
who didn't?
what was her character name?
Rachel. The
I
Rachel.
want the Rachel. Yeah, that was, nobody, of course, you weren't going to look like her.
No. Mm-mm.
But I did find some funny hair facts. I did not know this, that your hair actually contains traces of gold.
Ooh,
And it comes from
fancy.
I know it's ingested through the food and the water that you eat. And if they were to test your hair in a laboratory, you would have traces of gold in it. So
Huh.
I thought that was interesting. I did not know that. And then that your hair is the second fastest growing tissue in your body.
It doesn't feel like it sometimes.
Yeah, but it said it takes 6 months to grow, or 6 inches in a year. And I thought, yeah, that's about right. My hair grows very slowly. Some people's grows very fast.
And I feel like mine kind of goes in phases. And speaking of how fast your hair grows, I again cut my hair one time. Now, this has not been that long ago. It was in the last 7 years. And the girl that cuts my hair is amazing and I love her, but she gets nervous when I start wanting to talk about cutting it short because it's not her thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fine, we can do it. So she starts cutting it, and then she got somebody else involved in it, right? It just wasn't my favorite. Wasn't a good choice on my part. It didn't turn out good, okay? So at the time I was teaching kindergarten, and probably the day or two before, this little girl in my class had cut her bangs. They were about a half an inch long, y'all. They were short.
Right there.
Really short. And so I come in with my new, not cute. I did not look like Faith Hill.
It wasn't not good for your build.
It was not good for my build. It definitely
Okay.
was not. And
Okay.
I just regretted it the minute I did it. And I knew I was like, golly, this is going to take forever to grow out. So I go in and we're having our little morning meeting time. And she just looks up at me and she goes, what happened to your hair? And I remember I looked at her and her little half-inch bangs. And I said, well, what happened to yours? Like, do we really want to have this conversation? Like, you have bangs that are a half-inch long. Don't worry about my haircut, honey.
Yeah. I paid $88 for
Yeah.
this.
Meanwhile, but yeah,
Gosh.
so when I did it, I was like, shoot, this is going to take forever to grow out because your hair does take so long to grow.
Well, and it does. Another funny fact I found, speaking of going gray, that it takes 13 days for a hair to lose its pigment after a stressful event. And I thought,
Oh,
because you know how they say, yeah, all this gray came from all the years I taught elementary school, raising children or whatever.
interesting.
I did not realize it's really a thing.
It's really a thing. People weren't
It's
just
a
being dramatic.
response to, yeah.
Dang, no wonder mine's so gray.
I know. I'm sorry, white in it.
I wish it was white.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe we should go together and say we want our hair to be white together.
We'll document it. Lord, no.
I've get our hair.
I've gotten a lot more conservative. I've started layering my hair some it's so straight, but the texture of it hasn't changed much since I went gray or grew it out. Has yours?
Not really. It's the only thing I notice is that it seems to be a little more frizzy, like it wants to frizz. I mean, anytime it's moist outside.
I think mine does that too. I feel that way. I just thought maybe it was me. Every now and then I'll get like a wiry hair that's kind of, but as far as the texture of it, hasn't changed too much yet.
No. That's
well,
funny. But yeah, we've had it all. And we used to, talking about styling your hair, you were saying earlier, or talking about hairspray. We used to take, I don't know what this was called, but it was the
I don't either.
over the ear thing. We would hold our hair out to the side, spray it,
and then dry it with a hair dryer.
Get it, slick it back. It's flat. Like, I don't know if we were trying to do
it. Went like you had hair, and then it went whoop, and then
I don't know, but it was bad. And if you look up in the 80s, it's how we all tried to look.
Yeah, we did. And there were people that could tease their hair. I could never do this, but there were people that could tease their hair like
make it.
It almost looked like it wasn't attached to their head. It was so big.
It looked like cotton candy. There was a lot of hair in
that just made me think of something real quick before we run out of time. So this is just a funny story that has to do with hair. So in my senior year of high school, I worked at a nursing home / assisted living place in Hermitage. Okay. And I worked in the dietary. So I helped fix the food and prepare it for the residents and whatnot. I don't even know how I got that gig. So part of that gig was I had to keep my hair pulled up when I was at work and wear a hairnet, right?
I have one now at work.
Yeah, you do. That's right. So I had hairnets from when I danced because we would wrap our buns in them.
Oh,
and
nice.
so
Yeah.
I guess we were at school one day and I guess I probably had to go to work. Now, back then, guys, in the late 80s, your purse had everything in it, right? It was like a suitcase. And so I'm sitting in study hall one day at a table, not studying. And I was talking to my friends and I go to get something out, probably a brush, and I pull it up out of my purse. And all of a sudden, I know that none of these people there know that this is what I do. This hairnet goes flying out onto the table in the library and everybody's just staring at it.
That's funny. Oh, they were probably like, what?
Oh, shoot. And I grabbed, they're like, what is that? So it just, you talking about that made me think of that. But yeah, I lost my hairnet one time.
I forget. I mean, it is so light and stretchy. I forget I have it on. And so after I work at Publix grocery store. But after my shift, sometimes I'll go run around and grab.
You got your hairnet on?
I still got my hairnet on. I get in the car and I'm like, okay, I look ridiculous.
Nah, that's funny. I love it. Well, if any of our listeners have funny hair stories or disasters or just crazy trends and styles you've done, we want to hear about it. We want to
leave us comments.
Now, if you guys really wanted to see some pictures of Carol and I's hair, we could always set up something, but that would cost you. That would cost you a little money. But if that's something you're interested in, we can talk about that. But yeah, so anyways, I guess we need to wrap it up for today.
All right. All of you listeners out there, it's time to dispatch the detach. Remember, don't make a fist.
Start a list. All right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.